Okay, well, welcome. I'm Liz Millman from Learning Links International, and we've got Simon Faringo with us as well, who's also from our organisation. And we're welcoming other friends, in particular, Dr. Vivian Crawford, who's, are you busy getting notes ready, Vivian? You're looking down, yes. Okay, then. And we've got Jackie Pennant as well. So we're just going to start off the session in a bit of our traditional way, if that's all right. So and it's wonderful to have Jackie and Martin with us, and other colleagues will join us as the time goes by. Right. Okay then. So Black History Conversations. I've managed to get the wrong date. This is lovely, isn't it? Is it where are we now? 7th. I'm in Australia at the moment, so it's actually Saturday the 28th here, but we'll keep with this. Okay, then just to do the greetings slide. This is the last session of this season, and we've taken a different approach, experimenting with different ways of talking about and discussing the stories of Black history. We've been looking at resources being created, research and activities going on with others around the world, see what they're doing to share insights and information about the Black history of different countries, as well as the shared history of European colonisation. And we're exploring approaches to reparations. Now, the next slide is an acknowledgement, and we have to pay credit to Jackie Pennant for suggesting that we had this sort of acknowledgement as part of our conversations. So we acknowledge the injustice of the actions taken by the British and other European countries that invaded and took possession of the islands in the Caribbean Sea, as well as in the continents of Africa, of North and South America. In addition, we also recognise the exploitation of the great continents of Africa, Asia, Australia, and many other parts of the world in the centuries of colonisation and ongoing exploitation. We acknowledge that this has resulted in the destruction and destabilisation of so many nations, peoples, and cultures. Okay, now because I'm in Australia, we carry on with acknowledgements because before every meeting, there's a statement of respect, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which I am today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. What we also sometimes do is to reflect on the current situation in the world, or we ask perhaps Vivian if you'd like to start with a prayer for us, and we can also go back to that reflection if we want to.
Yes,
Is that
so,
okay,
yes,
Vivian?
sure. Let us pray. Let us become still in reverence before God, who is our maker, defender, redeemer, and friend. And in this consciousness, we know that God is working with us, and we seek to work with God. We acknowledge the majesty of God. And so, gracious Father, we pray for peace on earth, and let it begin with us. We remember those who are in need, for their needs shall be satisfied. We remember those who mourn. We remember those who are suffering. Gracious God, we thank you for the witness of your people on earth. And we remember United Nations and the resolution passed on the 25th. We place this meeting into your hands and the participants for this meeting. We ask you to continue to guide our coordinator, Liz Millman, and us who will participate, that all we do will be to your greater glory and the extension of your kingdom here on earth. For yours is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Vivian, thank you very much indeed. Just to explain, it's the respectful thing to do in Jamaica, and we're looking at respect in all kinds of different ways. And the respectful way in Jamaica to start a meeting is also always to pray. So we invited you to do that today. Thank you very much indeed. And we've just been joined by my colleague Derek Charles Hange. How are you up in Bangor? It's great that you've joined us because Derek's part of the Jamaica Wales Alliance team who are going to be going over to Jamaica. We have one member of the Jamaican team coming over to Wales very shortly. So I've just been working on the programme, Derek, to get something that I'll be able to share with everybody. So welcome to you all. And well, I was going to start off just by telling you something that I've been doing in Australia here, and then we're going to have an opportunity to talk about the United Nations resolution. And I've just picked up a few things from social media stories, and I know it's a particular aspect that you want to talk about, Vivian. So we'll do things in that order if that's all right. Okay then. So here we are back to here. So I had an opportunity recently when a friend of mine, Debbie Swindles, um, uh, met up with me for lunch, and then we thought about where we'd go. Now, Debbie has Aboriginal heritage. She has some Scottish heritage as well, but mainly Aboriginal. And she lives in a place called Healesville, which is near to an area called Corranderk. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the Corranderk story so that you had some idea of the sort of activities that were going on later in the time of colonisation. But these stories are so important in Australia to tell. And then Debbie took me to the Corranderk Cemetery, and she enabled me to have a look round there, which was really very moving. And she's going to help me learn more about the stories from her perspective as an Aboriginal person. So the this area called Corranderk, and as you can see, it's a flat area next to the the start of the Great Dividing Range. The big hill behind. So it was established by Aboriginal leadership in 1863 by Wurundjeri leaders Simon Wonga and William Barrack. Now, William Barrack, the photo of him there, and they led the displaced Kulin people to reclaim a place to live on their own country, because the issue was with the colonisation was that the local people, the Kulin people in our area, were being pushed out of their lands, and lands were being claimed by the mainly British colonisers at the stage. So there were frontier battles and wars and horrendous stories. But by this stage in history, um, the story of Corranderk is one that needs to be better understood. And the reason that Debbie's not with me telling this story to you herself is that it's midnight here. So it's a bit unreasonable to ask anybody to speak from Australia. So Corranderk sits on the traditional Wurundjeri Woiwurrung country, and that's here in Victoria, near present-day Healesville in the Yarra Valley. The station was created after the devastating impacts of colonisation, the loss of land, the disease. Smallpox was deliberately introduced to the communities, and smallpox scabs were were tucked into the blankets that were handed out during the cold weather phases. Really awful to know that. And frontier violence affecting Aboriginal communities across Victoria. There isn't today a very obvious Aboriginal community in Victoria, so it's really interesting to see how it pans out. Um, and there we are. So Corranderk became one of the most successful Aboriginal run stations in Australia, producing crops like hops and selling goods to the Melbourne markets. Now, the photograph there, everybody's dressed in Western clothes, but they had someone who was the protector of the land, but who was a British person, but to a great extent they managed the land themselves. And because it was in the fertile Yarra Valley, it was very good land. Within a decade, Corranderk grew into a thriving community of over 150 residents from different Culin groups. And then from 1870 to 1880s, more restrictive policies were imposed, including the Aborigines Protection Act, which forced many residents, especially younger people, to leave. So they had all kinds of bright ideas, the colonists, about how they could disrupt the lives of the Aboriginal people. And one of those ways was to take the younger people and have them either in institutions or then working for white people in the community. So this caused all kinds of problems and is referred to as the stolen generation, but we can talk about that another time. So residents at Corranderk resisted these controls through petitions and advocacy. One of the things that we're doing in Jamaica is looking at resistance in a conference that we're doing shortly. So especially the Corranderk petition in 1886, and that's something I need to learn more about, making it one of the earliest organised land rights campaigns in Australia. So I can see, Vivian, that this is going to be something that we can follow up. So land was gradually taken away and the station was officially closed in 1924, with most residents moved to Mission, which is not close. Lake Tyers Mission was the place that the remaining people were taken to. So they hadn't got control over where they wanted to live. They were directed, instructed, taken um, to places where the colonial powers lived. And of course, at that time, the colonial powers were British. Okay, so then Debbie took me to the Corranderk Cemetery, and the cemetery contains the graves of some important figures, including William Barrack, and that's his gravestone, which was moved there. After decades of dispossession, the cemetery was returned to the Wurundjeri people in 1991, becoming a place of remembrance, cultural connectivity, continuity, and reconnection. So it was interesting to see this space, which has a few memorials on it, but not many. It's not just a historical site, it represents Aboriginal resilience, self-determination, early organised resistance to colonial control, and ongoing cultural survival and recognition. And it remains one of the most significant historical sites in Victoria and across Australia, as I said. So Debbie's there standing and touching the grave memorials of two of her relatives. So her auntie was the larger statue, and then her cousin, larger monument, and the cousin was the cross. So that's my bit of information to inform me about what I've been doing over here. So it's good to have you join us, Garrick. Thank you very much indeed. Wonderful. And Garrick's also a member of the Learning Links International team. We've also got Joan. Joan, is it you from London? Have you changed your way you've put your name up? Joan,
No, it's
unmute yourself.
Joan. Joan, I'm Joan. I'm the Jamaica Society Secretary in Reading.
Oh, lovely,
Haven't
lovely.
been on for a while.
No, it's lovely that you've been able to join us. We've
Yes.
got with us Dr. Vivian Crawford, who's retired some little while ago from the Institute of Jamaica. He leads the work that we're doing in Jamaica, so that's great. And we've got Jackie Pennant with us. She's also a part of our work, and Garrick Prayog, who's also a member of the directors of Learning Links International and chair of the North Wales Jamaica Society. So
Hello,
we're
Martin. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Derek. Good
Yeah,
to see you.
good, good.
Happy
Yeah,
New Year.
you're getting a Father Christmas beard there, are you?
Yes, indeed.
Good job, good job. Mhm.
That's wonderful. And we've got Derek here with his Father Christmas beard on. And, I tell you, the way I'm feeling at the moment, it's as if we missed out autumn and we've gone straight into winter here. This last few days, it's been cold and it's been wet.
It's the
Yes, so
same here, Liz. We're going through
really,
a cold spell, yeah. Can you see? I've got
yes, I can.
my sheepskin on, yeah.
Oh, right,
Just came
okay.
back from Central Library in Liverpool, and it's raining and it's cold.
And the forecast here later on is snow.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
So
And we've had snow in part of Australia. I didn't catch where it was, but or maybe it was Tasmania. That's even further south and closer to the Antarctic. All right, okay then. Now, yesterday we had our meeting of the Jamaica Wales Alliance Penance Project Committee, and Ivor's joining us. Ivor's one of the team in Penance. When we've looked at this next issue, which you brought up, the United Nations recognition that we're going to talk about next, Vivian. We'll talk about what we're doing with our project in Jamaica because we need to decide whether we're having a meeting of the Clarendon Historical Society at 4 o'clock in Jamaica. It would be great if you could join us, Vivian, but I'll explain about that later. So we'll just move forward. So welcome, Ivor. That's really lovely. Okay, so back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so on to the next one, which just showed again the site. Okay, so I've just picked out a few clips off my social media to introduce this, Vivian, and I hope that you'll um, contribute to talk more about this issue and the sort of the way the vote went. But the BBC reported that the United Nations General Assembly had voted to recognise, and it was an overwhelming vote, but there were people who voted against, and we want to discuss that perhaps, to recognise the enslavement of Africans during the transatlantic trade as the gravest crime against humanity. A move advocates hope will pave the way for healing and justice. So that's how the BBC shared it on social media. And then this one, which has got some suspicious looking characters in the top line. And I assume the gentleman in the circle is the Ghanaian representative who presented this. So the US, Israel, and Argentina voted against Ghana's UN resolution to recognise the slave trade as the biggest crime against humanity. They oppose a motion which calls for reparation and justice for the transatlantic slave trade, and the US said it condemned slavery but didn't support legal claims for reparation. So while not legally binding, the resolution carries strong moral weight and highlights the global call for recognition of historic injustices. And Professor Vereen Shepherd shared this slide, which you may or may not be able to read the names on, how states voted today in the UN in a resolution introduced by Ghana to declare the transatlantic trafficking in Africans and the chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. So the detail of this has been shared. So Vivian, I would like to invite you if you would like to make some comments about this. Shall I
Yes,
take this slide down now?
yes. Thank you, Liz. It's fortuitous that this resolution took place on the 25th because it was on that date in 1807 that slavery was, transatlantic slave trade was abolished. It doesn't mean that enslavement did not go on and that trading did not go on, but it was illegal. So it's fortuitous that date. I want to commend Ghana for leading the resolution. They suffered a lot. My ancestors came from Ghana, Nani of the Maroons. I'm descendant of Maroons, of Moortown here in Portland, Jamaica. My surprise and shock about those against the resolution, I still cannot believe that Israel, and somebody please in this group will tell me why Israel would be against the resolution when Israel had its own enslavement in Babylon. Israel had its Second World War, German intervention. Why Israel would be against such a resolution? My only consolation as I prayed about it is that my mother always emphasized that the angel appeared to Joseph by night and said, take the baby to Egypt and do it in the night, because if news were to get around in the day, then they would be caught. That's my consolation. But someone in the group will perhaps tell me why Israel would be against such a resolution.
Well, it certainly took the wind out of my sails, I must say, to know to realise that the opposition votes, quite unbelievable. Okay, so Martin, what was your feeling to hear about this? Did you hear about it?
No, but I mean, I've been following it now. I mean,
Yeah.
my sympathies are with you and our fellow speakers, but it's possible because I haven't seen the detail why the Israelis objected to the motion, but they may have felt that it wasn't the worst act against humanity. They may have argued that genocide is worse because you're killing people. And the Jews, during the Second World War and in other contexts, were killed and slaughtered in the gas chambers or whatever.
But we had that too.
Sorry?
Enslavement had that too. And one needs to read Thomas Thistlewood to speak about what happened to enslavement. And I shouldn't be mentioned this on this program. Apart from killing, defecating in their mouths, Thomas Thistlewood about enslavement. All that Israel went through, we went through worst.
No, I'm not saying, I don't want to make comparisons. All I'm saying is the United Nations motions are generally worded. They don't always reflect the full detail. So that could be a reason why Israel didn't want to support the motion, because they may not have known that slavery included people being killed in a sort of genocidal way, because the genocide, is 4 million people in the Second World War, were killed in the gas chambers. I know a lot of slavery people died as well, either on the Atlantic Passage or in situ. So anyway, I'm not trying to defend.
I understand, but with respect, wouldn't Israel have known about the Zong massacre, where enslaved were thrown over a ship on the way to the West Indies?
No, because
were they absent from school that day when it was taught? it's
no, you know that, but they would also know that.
Okay, we'll pass over to Garrick to come in at this point.
Picking up your point, Vivian, in terms of Israel and the attitude that Israel have adopted, it's not something new. If you go back to the Ethiopian trying to get the recognition for the land of Israel, it took many, many years, and Israel introduced a DNA test to actually test those those Jews living in Ethiopia, whether or not they were actually belonging to the nation, to Israel. And even after the tests confirm, they're still not treated as equal citizen in Israel.
It's amazing.
No.
Yeah.
Now we know. Thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah, also add, Vivian.
The world isn't level. It's Donkey said it. The world isn't level.
Yeah. Hi, it's Jackie. Sorry, I can't see my raised hand on here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can.
can hear you.
Yeah. So I think there are a couple things going on at the same time here, and kind of get muddled in the first thing is the wording, the gravest. Okay. Everybody has their gripe about what happened to them. So everybody's arguing about, well, this was worse or that was worse. I think the first thing is, in my mind, just acknowledgement that it was a crime against humanity and there's need for an apology. Because, I mean, you haven't even I don't think the world has even gotten to that step yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Has any country come out and officially apologized? I know some have. But an official apology for what happened, acknowledgement to those who were affected, first of all. And then the second thing I'm looking at the countries who voted against or abstained or whatever they did. And it looks to me that it's all based on the power structures that be right now. If you look at the countries, all of the European, mainly the white, the ones who would be the ones who would have to pay the reparations are the ones who are abstaining. So the power structures that be don't allow for this to take place, because we're coming from, yes, it's a moral victory, absolutely, but it's almost as if nothing's changed, because we know that people, you remember that the Welsh, the English were paid for reparations for losing their slaves, right?
Yeah.
And so we know that there is a precedent for this happening, but it's just that it's not those who have their own vested interests. They're voting against their own interests, and it's not really about what's right or wrong. That's what I think.
I accept that, Jackie, because on this program, and this is why I make every effort to be present at this program, because at my tender age, it took me from this program to learn. I was never taught it. I didn't see it in any book.
Yeah,
Alex Renton's book, Blood Legacy. All humans should read that book. It was on this program that I learned that to justify enslavement, those involved in the trade said that enslaved Africans were half human and half animal, and therefore they were regarded as goods. They were treated sometimes less than the animals.
This is right, isn't it? All right, so we're joined now by Elliot Maddox. It's really great that you've joined us. We're just moving into a discussion
Elliot
about
is from
UN
Atlanta.
nation. Yes, Atlanta in the US, and we're
Wow.
talking about our dismay, surprise that the US was one of the, well, we aren't surprised really, but the US was one of the countries that voted against.
We're sending Elliot to the UN now.
So, Elliot, were you aware that this had happened?
I do apologize. I came in at the tail end, so I do not have the.
All right. So it's the United Nations General Assembly vote, and we were just going through different comments, and the US, Israel, and Argentina voted against this resolution, which was to recognize the slave trade as the biggest crime against humanity. This is a United Nations thing. So the United Nations, it was just this week, and it was particularly a relevant day when the United Nations formally recognized the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity and called for reparatory justice. So what you were just talking about, Vivian, sort of reflects back to we were saying about Alex Renton's book, Blood Legacy, and he's part of, for example, the heirs of slavery who are trying to do some kind of reparation. And then, of course, there's the enormous initiative in the CARICOM initiative, looking at reparations. But some of you will know that I explore every now and again things with AI, and AI thinks this is being described as a historic shift because it elevates slavery from past wrong to a defining global crime, which means it's something that can be referred to, back to, and it strengthens the case that reparations are not just moral, but are political and international, and it links directly to present-day inequalities rooted in the colonial systems. So I thought that was a valid enough comment to come up and see, and just to let you know, and this is kind of to help you, Elliot, get up to speed. This again is from an AI source, but the analysis that you get in AI source needs to be checked carefully, but it also can be very valid. So they're talking about a landmark resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade, slavery is the greatest crime against humanity, and then the reparatory justice to address the enduring harm that's caused while recognizing that the impacts of slavery are ongoing, shaping inequality, racism, and underdevelopment today. And I mean, the American situation is just classic of how this enduring harm carries on. So I think I felt that that was perhaps useful to share as well. Okay.
Yes, and I greatly appreciate that, Liz, as well as when I came in on the discussion. I believe it was Jackie who was discussing it. So thank you for that insight. I have pulled up on my computer a bit of it, and I will do research into it further.
Well, I think that's something because I've been quite busy this week and distracted, and it was Vivian who raised the point and talked about it in one of our meetings yesterday. So we very much appreciate that, Vivian, and then we made the effort to make that a talking point. Gary,
Yes.
do you want to come in again?
I've never understood. We talk about democracy and democratic voting. The United Nations is made up, I think, 165 nations or something. And then you can get two or three nations overturning a decision. How does that work? You know, majority rules. If three or four people, even five or even 10 is against, then the majority is for. And yet it never seems to transpire that way. You get a couple of individual nation who block certain thing, and that is the end of the matter. How does that work in democracy?
It is
Yes,
not the end of this matter, please. It's the beginning. Because those who objected, most of those who objected, they benefited the most.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
But
it's the
even
beginning.
the idea, the system of democratic, you have a vote, you count the vote, right? If the vote is shared equally, then you have another vote, or until you get to a majority. In the court of law, you have 12 jurors sitting down, and the judge says, you must all agree. And the first says, oh, sorry, we split, we didn't agree. Go back and start again until you get an agreement where all of you are, together. We don't see any of that in this United Nation debacle.
All right, well said again. Very well said.
If I would like to just touch upon that before we move on, Liz.
Yes, Elliot.
I'll make it brief. Yeah, Garrick, so I do agree with you in that. One of the things that I have come to realize, especially with this ongoing hostilities between Israel and neighboring nations, as of the recent hostilities, is that the UN seems to have no true power. Um, they seem to be a dog that barks but doesn't bite. Particularly during the height of the Israeli strikes against Gaza, the UN said a lot. To my knowledge, they were saying that they condemned the actions, but they were not preventing the ongoing onslaught. So the way I feel, and it's just feelings, and I know feelings do not trump facts, but the way that I see it is that the reason why just a couple countries can just squash an argument in the UN is because maybe they have they fund the UN. Maybe they have the biggest bank accounts, and the biggest weapons. And it seems like the U.S. and Israel, they are within that realm. So that's just my informal take on that.
Well, I think it's very valid, and it's something for us to keep aware of. Jackie.
Yeah, I was just saying that, I think that in every structure that you have, different levels of power, it doesn't matter where it is, the workplace, whatever. There are people who have the power and they are not held to the same standards of those who do not. And it is a fact. It's not fair, but it is a fact. And I think that the bottom line is that the world is not fair. We'd like it to be different, but in this system, the world is not fair. And, I know that even in the workplace, you'll have somebody do something that's not good, but then they won't be held to any kind of standard because, they bring in business or they have a title that nobody can, go against them. So it's nothing new. And I think the bottom line is we're expecting fair treatment, but it's not fair. And that is the bottom line. It's not fair.
Very true, very true. Thanks,
Actually,
Jack.
may I say too that
Of course, Ivor.
slavery is not unique, not strange to Israel. Remember, Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. So from way back then, Israel had been accustomed to slavery historically.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, Ivor. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope, Vivian, that we've alerted people's awareness of the resolution, and we can only hope, like you say, Elliot, that we'll get on the internet and do a bit more research about it and make sure that we're well aware of it. But I came across something else interesting a couple of weeks back, and I wanted to share that. So I'll go back to my PowerPoint when I find it again, because I found this on a site about history and policy, connecting historians, policymakers, and the media. And they're looking at planning, and I thought, well, let's think ahead here. Because they're thinking of the bicentenary of the abolition of slavery and the African emancipation, and that's 2023 through to 2033 through to 38. Now, when we had the bicentenary of the abolition of the slave trade, with a lot of activity going on in Britain, one of the things that certain people were saying, like myself, was why are we celebrating 200 years after it was abolished? The trade was abolished when we were one of the countries that got very active at the beginning of the slave trade, not the exact beginning, because that was slavery, that was Spain and Portugal. Anyway, so this is the forward planning. So it's good to be thinking about this. And although this resolution, which, as you said, Vivian, was well brought forward by Ghana, and it's keeping the discussion on the table, because otherwise no matter how important it is, it can just get subsumed by all the other discussions that are going on about 101 other things and wars in the Middle East. So there is some statements here, so you can find it yourself, or I can forward it down. So the last point here, the past memorialisation of emancipation in Britain promoted a celebratory narrative of British abolitionism, neglecting the importance of the enslaved freedom fighters in initiating and hastening the abolition process. And then this point, which is what we've just been talking about, the millions of African people who died because of the transatlantic slave economy. I won't read all through these, but it's just to recognise how important these things are. So a name came up here, Dr. James Dawkins. Now, Ivor, perk your ears up. Dawkins. All right. Dr. James Dawkins describes the role of small shareholders in the Royal Africa Company. Anyway, so he's given a talk about these things. So I'm now going to just come out of my thing here and get back into the bit that I want. I think I've got my slides mixed up in the wrong order. So nothing new. So here we are, and here is Dr. James Dawkins. Now, he isn't the Dawkins of the Dawkins plantation owning family. He, like you, Jackie, holds the name of a plantation owning family, and they own plantations in Clarendon, a massive number of plantations, even more than the Pennant family. And he's done a lot of research into this. So when we get into the next season, we want to ask Dr. James Dawkins to come and talk to us, but he's done some work on Britain's forgotten slave owners. And I'm not sure if it's a slide before or the slide afterwards. Forgive me.
Okay.
Here we are. So it's this
Dawkins.
witnessing history, the BBC, with Nick Draper, who's well known for his work and involvement with UCL, and David Olasuga. So this is something that people might want to get into and listen. Usually I remember to put the link on the slide. I've obviously forgotten here, but forgive me. So that will be of interest. Now you just came in with surprise in your voice there, Vivian, because you know of the Dawkins.
Yes, there in Clarendon, they came 1655 with Pen and Venables, the Dawkins.
Yeah,
And
so they were one of the really the original
yes,
families, like
Dawkins pennants. When they
yeah.
landed, they were told as far as the eyes can see, that's all yours. And the Hope, Major Hope, Hope Gardens, Hope River. Oh my heavens, yeah.
And then
Lot of
and then also in Penance,
In Penance.
the Dawkins have property right next door to the Pennant family estate.
Yeah, I was parents have a piece of land near in Darkin Gully, they call
Yeah,
it.
right there.
And
Oh.
I know a Dawkins too. He was my godfather. I didn't know him until I was married to Ivor. He came to Jamaica from England and bring my wedding gift.
What?
Oh,
What he brought? Crown jewels?
No, cutlery.
I think this is brilliant. It's really good. So once we finish with the Pennant family, we'll get on to the Dawkins, all right? But it was
They
great
were
to get
from Moko.
involved.
Moko, we call it.
Moko, that's a place in Africa, named after a place in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, Moko.
Where,
What
where
did
I'm
you call
from,
it, Sergeant?
where
Where's-
I'm from, this is Joan speaking. Where I'm from
Oh,
in
yeah.
Clarendon,
Yeah.
I'm from Upper Clarendon, and a place by the name of Colonel's Ridge. That's where I'm from, and there is a place near there called Dawkins Land. I don't know anything.
yes, Dawkins. Colonel Ridge.
Yes,
Yes.
that's where I'm from.
The row bottoms.
Yes,
One
and the Sinclairs.
on Monday. One of the Robothams
Yeah,
passed
and
away, and the funeral will be Monday.
Okay, in Clarendon, in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Sinclairs also from Upper Clarendon.
Yes.
From Sinclair, but from Chapelton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this segues us very nicely, that's a good word, into talking about our current project. So Glenn and I and Derek's going to be joining our group that goes over to Jamaica the month after next. I think it's May, isn't it? I can't remember. Getting mixed up here. Yes, May. We'll have a group from North Wales in Clarendon. So Derek's going to be a member of that team, and Jackie, you're coming over as well, aren't you? Now, Ivor and Isint, you both joined us in Wales in October, and we were able to show you around and about, and you understood more about Jamaican culture and history after that, I think. And you also went to the famous Penryn Castle site of concern. But I'm just going to let Garrett come in now.
Just picking up the conversation regarding the Dawkins and Clarendon. I mean, this is why it's so important with the educational work we're doing in schools, because the link that we have developed, schools in Clarendon and schools in North Wales, is crucial because none of this information is being taught either side of the world.
That's
You
true.
know, North Wales is not teaching this information, even though they have Black history as mandatory on the curriculum. And I've been trying to dig deeper as to who deliver the Black history in schools. So, you know, we need this information on both sides of the world. We need it for our children in Jamaica, and we need it for our children here in North Wales. And this link that we have developed through the Building Bridges of Friendship is the foundation to continue this work.
Yeah, right. Again, excellent contribution. Thanks very much indeed. So as we move ahead, I now want to talk about what we're doing with this project, Building Bridges of Friendship, and it is about understanding this history because the teachers who are teaching the next generations need to understand this history as well, and often they don't know. So the line that we're taking is that we're exploring the local links with colonial history for this aspect of Black history. And so our project started with linking North Wales, the Gwynedd area, with Clarendon. And Joan, you'll be really interested, I'm sure, in what we're doing, and you need to stick close with us on this because it is North Clarendon we're talking about. So
Okay.
we're going to with the group that are going out, while we're out there, the newly in creation Clarendon Historical Society. So we're setting up a new entity in Clarendon. And in that we're going to be exploring the history of different areas. Well, the society is going to be exploring the history of different areas in Clarendon. I mean, obviously, we're interested in one particular story, and that's the story of the Pennant family. And we discovered that in Clarendon there was a group of tenants went on strike in 1938 against Lord Penrhyn. Now, this was really a resonance with us in North Wales because in 1900 the quarry workers in Lord Penrhyn's quarries, slate quarries, went on strike against Lord Penrhyn. So here we are about 40 years later with tenants in Pennants going on strike against the then Lord Penrhyn. And they were successful and they caused the plantations to be sold. So we're following this story up and the story of the leader, Robert Rumble. Now, Derek, you're very good at describing the strike in 1900. Do you want to say a little bit about that and what happened with the quarrymen in Wales?
Well, the strike went on for about 4 years, and gradually Lord Penrhyn ground them down. Eventually, he stopped the strike by getting the Black Watch to say that, you know, that you've heard of the Black Watch. They decided to go to shoot them all if they didn't go back to work. But anyway, it turned out that the local people, they formed what is now the Penrhyn Mayor's Choir and went all over the country, not just Wales, but in England and Scotland, and collected money for the strike, and that kept them going. But a lot of miners, actually quarrymen, left here and went to South Wales to become miners instead. So he managed to get the people to go back to work. He actually paid them less than he was paying them before. But the bitterness is still there. Yes, there's two different halves of Bethesda where the quarry is. One half of the streets is used to have signs in the window, sos nam dim bradwr here. There is no
Traitor.
no traitors here, and this is still 3 or 4 generations later. It's still extant in Bethesda.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Derek. And Derek's bilingual, as many people in North Wales are. So it's sometimes catching that word, isn't it, and getting it in English. Yeah. So the traitors. Yeah. So Joan, it's a fascinating story, and so we're going to hold a conference on the Robert Rumble story. And I'd just like to announce that the Society of I can't remember the name of it, Labour, let me just look up the email and then we'll get this right because it's important because they're going to fund us. So that's good, Derek, and Garrick to know that we're yes, here we are.
Brilliant.
I'll just share this PowerPoint this with you so you can see exactly what we're talking about. So we've just had the letter today to say that we've got, Ivory, you listening? £850 to support the Robert Rumble and story of the Labour activism in Pennants, Clarendon, Jamaica conference, and they'll reimburse the cost.
Very good.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
So it's the Society for the Study of Labour History, which is based in the UK. And we'll include the Society's logo and we will send a report afterwards. But they then put the report on their site and it's seen by lots of people. And because it's about Labour activism, this is really valuable. So I'm really pleased about that. So we've got some really good news there.
Brilliant.
And the second bit of good news that we've got today is that we've now had the final funding for the youth part of the project that we had with young people spending time in Jamaica and Jamaican young people, including 3 from Pennants, spending time in the UK. So that's in our project called Building Bridges of Friendship. So when we go out in May, when the group come out in May,
12th of May.
12th of May, they're going to be finding out more and they'll be there for the conference on the 14th. So it's really good. So whereabouts do you come from in Northern Clarendon, Joan, did you say?
Yeah, it's a little place called Colonel's Ridge. And it's right under the Bullhead Mountain. It's way up in the country.
Right.
Beautiful. And
you know who the colonel was? The colonel.
No, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it. I haven't done any research, but it's called Colonel's Ridge. And in fact, the church up there is called Mount Carmel Church. The school is called Mount Carmel School. Up in Colonel's Ridge. And as I said, there's a place up there called Dawkins Land, but I don't know anything about it. But I used to travel from Colonel's Ridge to Chapelton to school, so I went through Pennants every day.
That's right.
Yeah. Morgan Sparse.
Yes, Morgan Sparse.
Then Pennant.
Pennants. And Summerfield, then up to Chapelton.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. We're getting all the names here, you see. Right now, I managed to lose.
Did you say it's Carmel Ridge?
It's Colonel, as in Colonel, like in the army, Colonel's Ridge.
We've got a Carmel here, you see.
But our school was called Mount Carmel School.
Yeah,
and the church was Mount Carmel.
It's spelled COLONELS.
That's right, Colonel's Ridge, Colonel's. But the school was Mount Carmel.
Right.
And the church was Mount Carmel.
Okay, so you're going to stay close in touch with us now because
I will do. I do get your emails.
Yeah.
I am the secretary for the Jamaica Society in Reading, our society. So I'm the secretary, and I tend to get the emails that come to the Jamaica Society and friends associate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just saying about this slide, and then I'll put it out the way. This is the Heirs of Slavery organisation that uh, Vivian Crawford spoke of earlier, and they are actively looking at how at engaging the uh, um, descendants of the plantation owners owning families to see how they can contribute to supporting communities. And at the moment, we've got the Pennant family, Douglas Pennant family, lined up to be able to give some support to the schools in Pennant. So a little bit at a time in Clarendon, we're going to try and work out which families are associated with, historically with areas of the parish, though they might have left their names or they certainly would have left their history. But it was good to see that at least the heirs of slavery put out an appeal after Hurricane Melissa, when so many people have been so badly disadvantaged. Joan, do you just want to tell us a little bit about the Jamaican Society in Reading and the sort of things you do? Because we had a guy, say his name for me, Garrick, um, a couple
Which
of
one?
weeks ago, came from Preston.
Oh,
Gla-
yes.
Gla-
Yes.
was it
Clinton Smith.
Clifton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Black
So,
Preston Black History Group. Yeah.
yeah. So what do your Jamaican society in Reading get up to? Put you on the spot. You have to unmute yourself, Joan.
sorry. Yeah, so we've been going for 20 years. We celebrated our 20th anniversary last year. And we have a meeting, Jamaica Society meeting with the community. We have a membership. It's called the Jamaica Society and Friends. And we put on events like we have a celebration in August, obviously, a summer ball. As I said, we have a meeting every second Saturday of the month, and this February April one will be our AGM. We're not a charity, but I think this year we're going to go for charity status, and we just inform and the community what's going on. Sort of we get emails and things from the High Commission. We get all their meetings and everything, and sometimes. I don't know, a couple of our chair actually will be in Jamaica, I think, for the conference.
Oh,
And
when's the conference,
it's
Joan?
in June. I think it's about the 14th of June, somewhere around there.
Right, and that's a diaspora conference.
The diaspora
All
conference,
right.
yes.
Because
Um,
I personally will still be in Jamaica. I'm going to stay on, so maybe the diaspora
and it's in
conference
Montego Bay.
are good because that side of the island needs the support, doesn't it?
I think that's where it's being held
Yeah.
this year.
Oh, right, interesting. Okay then. So
Um,
so
so we're
sorry,
just a
carry on.
community group. Just a community.
Right. So do you celebrate the achievements of Jamaican people since they've been in the UK?
Yes, you mean like in the Black History, that sort of thing?
Yeah,
Yes, we
yeah.
do Black History. We do. Um, we have an Easter. We celebrate Easter. We celebrate Black History. We celebrate Christmas. Um, that sort of thing. We take our elderly out on trips in the summer months mainly. We just keep them. And we have two groups actually. There's one that on the third Thursday of the month, we also meet and we have a health and well-being group. We have presenters come in and talk about different aspects. And in fact, we have a big health and well-being meet in July. And I'm sure everybody has heard of Tony Kelly, the guy who is the diabetes ambassador, and he comes down and he talks to us, and he's coming again this year. to update us on, diabetes. He's really good. He goes all over the world, all over the Caribbean, all over England to talk about diabetes. Has anybody heard of him
I
online?
haven't actually, no.
You have. You
Is
haven't?
it somebody good to know about?
Yeah, he's really good.
Garrett, do you know? Garrett, you'll have to just put in if you want to
He's from
talk.
Birmingham. He lives
Yes,
in
I do
Birmingham.
know. I do know him. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Good.
And so that's the sort of thing we do, just,
Well,
you know.
I'm going to share something with you, Joan, because one of the things that we're doing, and we're encouraging community groups interested in history to do, is to
Mhm.
look at their local community and find out if there are any local families that were involved in plantation ownership. Okay, right. Now, Joan, you perhaps haven't heard, but I'm really into using ChatGTP at the moment. So I've just quickly looked up and I asked the question, plantation owners from Reading and Berkshire. And let's have a little look, shall we? So
Wow,
Richard
holy.
Thompson, and I'll save this and send it to you, Joan. I've got your
Wow.
email address, I think. And this is a great picture here of one of the windmills that generated the power for working on the plantation. So this looks like Buckingham, Buckinghamshire.
Buckinghamshire? Yeah, that's not far,
Berkshire.
not
This
far
is your
from here.
county
No.
is Reading. So I went to
Mhm.
university, went to college, teach training college there. And here is the history of the Coley House and Coley Park Estate. It's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that might be part of the hospital now, part of a hospital, Coley Park, if I'm wrong. Yeah, because it's an
Well,
old
that's
building.
interesting because you have to be a local person to know the places in the UK. Then we might be able to find that there's a Coley Park um, in Jamaica. And for example, my village in Worcestershire was called Blakedown, and the next door village is called Hagley. And in
Hadley
Hagley, there
Park.
is a big estate, yes, called Hagley Park.
Oh, wow.
And Viscount Cobham from Hagley Park was one of the leading politicians in Jamaica back in the day, in the plantation days. So he was obviously into colonial activities at governmental level. And there's Hagley Park Road in the middle of Kingston, and nobody knows
Yes.
what it's called Hagley Park.
Yes.
And who live in this village called Hagley, which is a big affluent village, they don't know that the Hagley Park has any relationship with Jamaica. And so it's by finding these local links we think will be interesting. Anyway, apparently there's this Richard
Yes.
Thompson, who was based in Coley, Reading. Yes, you've got it right. Owned a sugar plantation in Jamaica. Doesn't say where. Classic
Mm.
example of absentee ownership, where wealth's extracted from Jamaica and then reinvested back in England. And then the De La Beche family, but
Mm.
Berkshire Licks and Jamaican estates.
Well, I
Sorry, in
don't know.
Jamaica they call it La Beach.
La Beach.
Yes, yes, De La Beach.
Della Beach,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And where do you think the Della Beaches were in
The name is
Jamaica?
still in Jamaica. Oh, he said,
Do
oh
you know
yes,
what,
on the Jamaican plantation. Yes, yeah.
do you
I
know
don't
where
know. No, I don't know where Old Worth is. I've never heard of it, to be quite honest, but I can find out.
this is looks like Rose Hall, doesn't it? Anyway, we won't look at that detail. Then there's the Goulburn family. Now this is interesting because there's was a Professor Harry Goulburn at UCL, I think.
And the
Uh,
Goulburn from St. Mary.
Right, okay. And they own the Amity Hall
Oh,
plantation.
Amity Hall is St. Thomas.
Right,
Amity
okay.
Hall is in St. Thomas. Oh my
We got an
God.
Amity Street in Reading.
Ah,
Yeah.
now we know.
And they had 300 enslaved people at the peak and a large-scale sugar production. And this illustrates the tight link between British political power and plantation ownership, says my
We now
friend.
know why they abstained from voting.
Then. So then it goes on to look
Wow.
at a broader pattern of Berkshire and the Thames Valley. And
Yes, look at that. Berkshire countryside, Coley, Oldworth, maintained
It's a Berkshire in
Jamaica,
Westmoreland.
Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, and St. Mary.
A Berkshire is in Westmoreland. Coley's in St. Mary, Coley Mount.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So and many of these people, it says, when we could check this out if we got into the research, receive compensation payments from the British government for loss of enslaved people. Now I'm going to click on this link, which is the Caribbean Claims and Connections from the Merchant City Cousins. So when I click on it, I'll see if there's anything useful. And then, oh, goodness gracious me. Right, okay, I'm just going to stop sharing because I have to go into sharing again to be able to let you see what I'm looking at. So that quote came from the Merchant City Cousins. Now, this is a Glasgow organisation, by the look of it, looking at the story of one family in Glasgow. So we won't look at this in great detail, but they're obviously doing the research into Glasgow families and what their involvements and links with are in Jamaica. And there's an interesting picture there, isn't there? An interesting painting. Ivor loves these old paintings. And we've got an old painting of Pennants that we were cross-referencing with research that Ivor had been doing out there. Anyway, so that's to do with Glasgow, so we won't stick with that. I'll go back to the other piece of information that we were looking at. And I'll come back into the document.
Give me some ideas for a Black History event.
So what I'm trying to do is to inspire you as an example of a community group that could take part in a project where we're looking at the local linkages with plantations, and the British, the National Archives in Kew. They're really interested in this and they're starting a proper project on this, and we're trying to encourage people to take an interest. So yes, it then goes, because I do a lot of research on Pennants, Clarendon and Penrhyn in Wales, it comes back to that all the time, and then it me. So it says, do I want to get a targeted list of Berkshire linked slave owners from the UCL database compensation record? Shall we say yes?
Yes, I'd like
It's lovely, you see. You can, and because I'm learning to and have the confidence to try learning I want to show other people what the sort of things you can do. So you tell it what you want it to do, and then you wait for 30 seconds, and within 10 seconds you get the answer. How it works, I have absolutely no idea. No idea. So we've got here the Thompsons, and how did you pronounce this again?
Beach.
Beach, Thomas de la Beach. Gives you more details, and these are all out of the here it says the University of Central London Legacies of British Slave Ownership LBS database, and it goes through. It has everybody's address everybody who claimed for compensation in 1938, was it? And no, 34 to 37. And you can look it up. You can look the database up on
Yeah.
the online thing.
Yeah.
So we're always happy to. And then there's this person, and then there's somebody called John Pierce, associated with the Reading Mercantile Networks, because Reading's a very affluent town, isn't it?
We used to be, it was the biggest companies like Huntley Palmers, Huntley Bourne and Stevens, all of
Yeah,
those big companies were
yeah.
in
This name, Devane, what's this then? Do you know this one, Vivian? Devane is?
No.
East India
Sound
Company. He
it
was the
sounds
East India Company.
Oh, the
sound
East India
French.
Company.
Very French.
Yeah, well, you know, we were invaded by the French in 1066, don't you? In that's why all these posh people have got French names to this day. So he was more into the East India Company, but is a compensation claimant though for Jamaican estates. Now, this term is
I'm
interesting.
afraid I have to go now. I'll see you in the morning, Gary.
Okay, Derek. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
There we are.
beautiful. So much. Lovely, Derek. Lovely. Slave ownership investments. So although he was involved in the East India Company, he was also investing in slave ownership. So it wouldn't be that he had his own plantation or anything like that. He would be like a sponsor for so many individual enslaved people, and he would be paid not compensation, but he would be paid an income for the ownership of those particular enslaved people. So that's something do you know much about this, Vivian?
About whom?
About when people had purchased investments in slave ownership.
Yes.
Because
Yes. Yes. They form remember you have the Royal Company, you have the East India Company, you have all kinds of companies, and these people were participants in them.
But what they discovered in the UCL database of the people who claimed for compensation was that some people just had 2 or 3 or even 1 or 10
Okay. You
investments
mean the
in
method of compensation?
yeah. So those individuals were getting an income. So it could be that it was the curate's wife or something was applying for compensation because she owned certain enslaved workers on particular plantations, and they were being used to generate profit on the plantations, and some of that profit would be an income back to her.
Yes.
I've never heard anybody speak about it, though. I've understood it from books. Right, so we've got Sarah Gale, Reading Connections. She was a beneficiary of Jamaican enslaved estates. Women often appear in the database as inheritance holders, so they might have had the history passed on to them. And then Charles Simeon. Well, goodness gracious me, I didn't expect to find this list just by chance. Connection with Reading or Cambridge's evangelical networks, and he had trustee relationships tied to slave estates. So it's introducing the idea that it's not just a massive plantation owning family like the Pennants that were involved in the slave trade. Lots of other people were involved in the investment in the trade. Henry Colborne.
Wow.
Right, and Berkshire apparently was an absentee ownership zone because many claimants lived in Britain, not in Jamaica. So the compensation money stayed in Britain. And that's interesting because some of the people who were claiming compensation, I was looking at Wales, and those people from New South Wales in Australia also came up. So the money from the compensation would have been paid to families in New South Wales, Australia, and some people were still families that were had plantations in Jamaica. And so their money was paid back into Jamaica. Sorry, I'm yawning away here. So ownership was often indirect. So there were mortgage holders, widows, trustees, merchants, not just planters, but financial beneficiaries. And the scale of the system was that 40,000 compensation claims were recorded and £20 million was paid out. This was to enable emancipation to happen. And so Berkshire wasn't just marginal, it was part of a national system of wealth extraction. So, and then it gives you help on this, and it gives you help on something else. I'll happily talk with you sometime, Joan, if you explore this more.
Yes.
But that was just a chance question that I asked ChatGTP, and this nice creature who finds all this information found it all there.
So what was the question you had put into the chat to ask the question?
No, I was a bit ashamed to show you because I didn't even spell it right. Let me just get back up to the top. It was plantation owners from Reading and Berkshire, but I missed the T out of plantation. So if you go into ChatGPT and ChatGPT, which is free if you don't do too much, and you go into a new chat at the top here, and then you just write in what you want. And it'll be interesting to see if you get the same answers as me, because the thing is, the more you use it, the more it learns what you're interested in. It's a bit spooky, to be quite honest. It even refers to me by name at times. It says, "This is a good point, Liz," it says, and I think, "Oh, how do you know my name?" But it's just amazing, and for this purpose, it's just perfect. So, is that all right then?
That is fine. Thank you. I shall bring it to the attention of the Jamaica Society and Friends. And who knows, perhaps we'll use this as our theme for Black History Month in October or something of the sort.
Yes, I think it's interesting because I've been involved in Black History Month activities, mainly in Wolverhampton and Birmingham. And Jamaican groups or Caribbean groups look at the achievements and, recognition of Windrush and everything else, the achievements of people in the UK. But there is this other side of Black history, which is white people's links with slavery, which often goes unnoticed, like Hagley Park Road. And so what we had a Black History Conversations before Christmas with somebody from the National Archives. No, yeah, the National Archives. And we tried to look at this, so it's really interesting. So I'm going to copy that lot. I'm going to put it onto a Word document.
Thank you.
We should be reminded that Hewart Gladstone, British Prime Minister, his father, John Gladstone, got the largest payout of the 20 million. He had enslaved in what we call Holland Bamboo, St. Elizabeth. Yes.
He had a very large slave ownership.
Wow.
And he's from your place.
Yes,
Liverpool.
yes. He's
Is
just
it
across the
Liverpool?
road. Yeah.
Oh my heavens.
His statue is over. Every time I go to the library, his statue is looking down
His
at me.
statue is still there?
Yes.
Then why you took down Coulson?
Well, yeah, that's Bristol.
The world isn't, Donkey said the world are level.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Joan,
Yes.
from Reading,
Yeah.
have you contributed to the Black History calendar? We now have the 2026 Black History Month calendar.
No.
And any event or activity running between now and the end of the year, you can actually upload your information on a template, so it will be included in the calendar for promoting Black history across the UK.
Okay. No, I don't think we've done that. We've ever done that, but
Yeah. This is the current calendar at the moment.
can't see it.
Oh,
Just keep moving it until I say stop.
okay.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
2026. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We've got that.
It's not just UK listing. We also have listing in Canada and in United States, but it's predominantly a UK calendar throughout the year.
Okay. And it's just for Black history.
Just for Black history, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
You were
Okay.
talking about Gladstone.
Yes, there he is.
Well,
Moving his
there he
books.
is. And he, when he retired from being Prime Minister, I'm not quite sure which of the generations of Gladstone this was, but he established this amazing library, which I'm ashamed to say I haven't visited, in North Wales. So at one time I need to go there. And apparently he took the books from his house to the new library that he had built in a wheelbarrow, and there he is walking along with these things. So I happen to have that in my amazing point here. But this is interesting, Vivian, as well, that was in my PowerPoint that I meant to show a few weeks ago and didn't get round to doing it. Oh dear, sorry, I've managed to.
Oh, that's on Monday. Oh, that's 2024, that was.
Yeah, so just to say that the United Nations have been doing events because they've got a big project, and they've just launched another 10-year focus on the victims of slavery and transatlantic trade. I haven't looked up what that's called now, but the last we followed the work of the United Nations last 10-year thing, and now we've got a new one to look at. So yeah, that was just to remind you. Okay then. So all right, I think we've lost a couple of people, but Millie Nelson, how are you? Millie Nelson's in St Mary. Millie Nelson, are you making lunch, breakfast? Okay, Millie, come in when you want to. So Jackie Pennant, have you got anything that you want to contribute at the moment?
Just a thought, Liz, on you was speaking about the what do you call it, in Australia, the gentleman who you were at
Aboriginal people, Barrack, William
right.
Barrack.
So I was just saying that there was a memorial and he was land rights activist. Wondering if there's anything you can glean from that memorial site for the Rumble site. Just wondering if there's anything.
I think it's interesting, and I think we could, because I mean, obviously, Aboriginal issues here in Australia, a lot of it's about land rights because the big mining companies in particularly have just launched in wholesale into sacred areas to Aboriginal people. And I wonder if I can find that to show you now. I've got, oh yes. For my Christmas gift, my family bought this for me. It's the map of all the different groups in Australia. Now, Australia is enormous. I'm stating the obvious, but I'm just telling you. So Australia's as big as the whole of Europe and a bit bigger. So there are all these different tribal groups. Oops, I can't quite see. Can you see?
Yes.
It's a big map. I probably can't bring it back
Yeah.
far in.
Yeah.
And these are when I talk about the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, there are we're down here at this bit down here. Look, multitasking, never mind about finding it online. So we're down here somewhere, Melbourne. It's Tasmania, so we're up there. So it's really interesting that there's so many different tribes and groups. And they're as individual areas, people are looking at their own history and their own, and it is about the land rights. And every now and again, there are agreements made. And in Victoria, they're just working on a treaty. Well, they've signed and agreed a treaty. Now they're putting it into practice to make the rights proper. And Jackie, I've got an apology to make as well because you left me a message and I didn't phone you back. Is it something you want to ask me about now, or shall we chat
No,
together?
it was more related to the historical society work we're doing. So that's another time. That's fine.
Okay. So that's a good reminder for me. So tomorrow morning, Vivian, at 4 o'clock, are you able to join a Zoom call to talk about the conference, the Robert Rumble conference?
Today?
Today. It's the time that the Historical
Oh,
Society have been meeting, but Faye doesn't want to, well, Faye isn't able to join us. So I thought we might use the same time on a Friday for
Yeah.
for
We
discussion
met
about.
last week, Vivian. We met last week. Faye was present. Walter came along as well. And
I'll
we
try, but I'll try. Oh, what is the duration of that meeting?
an hour.
An
Oh,
hour.
Yeah.
yes. Okay. All right. I'll try.
It would be lovely to
Okay
have
then.
your input. Yeah.
Are we closing off now?
Yes, in about 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Good.
And so what we were saying last week, I'm just looking up for the Zoom minutes and things, but one of the points was that we wanted to make sure that you came to the next meeting because we need to talk to you about the content of the conference and the order of things, which I won't talk about now. We don't want to spoil the surprise to people, but that we've just got some great links and exciting things that have gone ahead. So it's really wonderful. So what am I looking up?
4 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah. You're 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 4 o'clock, Clarendon Historical Society meeting.
Not to delay the meeting, prolong it, but I don't know if we're aware that the Aborigines and the Maoris that I was told years ago that they all came from Africa thousands of years ago, and it's what happened in Jamaica with the Jamaicans going to Colombia and settling in a place called San Andres. That unlike the Tainos from South America reaching Jamaica through fishing expedition led them to very strange places, and the rest is history.
Well, it's just so true, isn't it? That You know,
fishing
we all
expedition.
came out of Africa, and
Yes.
the geological evidence is that the Aboriginal, because there was a land link
At one
between.
time, yes, yes,
Mm.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
You could walk across the world, Vivian.
Ice Age, yes, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
walk across.
Before the ice separate the continents. Yeah.
Yes. And global warming.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I know. I
Oh,
know.
okay,
this is always so
so,
lovely meetings.
I can't find the notes that I was looking for, but if you could join us, Vivian, that would be really
I'm trying
great.
to get Elliot, but I'm going to report Elliot to Mr. Trump.
Why are you reporting for Elliot?
He's going to that principal's office.
For sure, he deserves it.
Elliot, I cannot find you. You're going to Mr. Trump's office.
I'm gonna boot him out. I'll be the new president.
Oh, my brother. Good.
Right, okay then.
Jackie, were you just about to say something?
Just something off the cuff. I was just saying that I've tracked penance, a lot of penance, surname penance to Panama, Guatemala, Honduras. So yeah, there are pennants there. So I think maybe during the Panama Canal days, but there are some
Yes, I
Spanish-speaking pennant
Yeah.
families there. Yeah.
Yes, I suspect that. Big movement of people
Yeah.
building the Panama. And in fact, the people, Trump was trying to take over. He said, "Oh, it doesn't belong to you. You know, it doesn't belong to America."
Oh,
Elliot
right.
will sort out all of that for
Yeah,
us.
yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm getting all my files ready now to go to the White House.
That's it.
Don't, Elliot.
So, Jackie, finding that out will contribute a chapter to the book that we're going to write about the name pennant. So that's a project Jackie and I are working on. Jackie's doing more work than I am. I'm getting distracted with the conference. Okay, so Elliot, any more? Well, we have to thank you, Elliot, because you have the perseverance of a saint. Because with the new website for Black History Conversations, you're still awaiting stuff from me, but I've had a bit of a difficult time lately, so you've not got it yet. So at some stage, you will get that information. All right?
Okay, no, sounds great. Since we're on this subject, just really briefly, if either you or Simon could send me the YouTube video thumbnails, that'll help me tremendously.
Oh, yes.
Yes, a message has gone to Simon. Simon, I think he's on it. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Somewhere I'd found the link. What remind me what the link is again, Elliot, for the website?
For the new website,
Yeah.
okay, it's going to be ubh.spanglefish.org. That is the temporary website link. Again, that is https://ubh as in unlocking Black history.
I've
ubh.spanglefish SPANGLEFISH spanglefish.org.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what it's looking like at the moment. I've got it on the page resources at the moment. Conversations, we've got some things that you've got here, and going back to
Seasons, yeah.
the different seasons. It's
If just since we're on it, if you could go to like anywhere from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1, any of those. Okay, now
Okay.
click the where it says season 5 with the underline. Click that. All right. So
Right.
scroll down a bit. Keep scrolling all the way down, until
Oh, right.
So I need the thumbnails to continue with these.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Might have to do a bit of work on that. This last season, which I thought was season 17, but it might have been season 16. The last season, it's been a bit vague because I've had all kinds of distractions, and so has Garrick. Oh, it's wonderful. So what you do is you can just go click on the.
No, come over where it says here's a recap. Not there. Where here's a recap. Click that, then it goes to the YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Right. Well, welcome to another Black History Conversations. It's great to have folks joining us, and it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Coming along. Yeah.
Oh, you have done well. They have done well. Oh, that's brilliant. So, the oh dear, I've lost the place now. We can share that when we've got agreement to put it out there. So that's fantastic. Well done, Elliot, and thank you ever so much. And it was lovely that you've joined us today, because today's been an interesting. We tried to get back to conversations, not having speakers all the time.
Yes.
And it's been a really nice conversation. And I think it was interesting to follow up your area in Berkshire and Reading. As I say, I went to college there, so I have a personal interest. So, and Ivor and Isint, thank you very much. Can you join us, Ivor and Isint, to do the conference discussion at 4 o'clock in Jamaica?
That's when, Lynn? Today?
Oh,
No, today. No.
What happened? Okay, that's no problem. What happened, Ivor, when the guy from the Jamaica Heritage Trust came?
It wasn't a guy, it was a team. About 6 persons came.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
A whole team.
Yeah. We went by the grave.
Mm.
Went by the grave of Mr. Rumble. And we took
Yeah.
pictures and asked questions and gave him some history there. And then we left and went by the
Over the river.
The Great House first. And
Yeah.
we found specimens of slate and all kind of things there. We took pictures and all that. And we went down at the graves by the next to the road there, and took pictures of the graves and so on.
Yes.
And we went across the river now, across the river, found some more rooms over there. We took pictures as well. Let us stop going on. We had a good day.
They drive across the river this time, not carry on.
I'm glad for the news. I'll call Ivor to tell them, offer thanks to them.
Yes.
I'll call them this morning.
Yeah, we'll report on that, and we will hear from them.
Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
So we are very advanced, please.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
The good news, Liz, we are hoping that if we do not get around to doing the restoration for May, even if we don't, but we want to hear that it is declared.
Yes.
Once it is declared, that is the news we want to hear.
That's the recognition. That's the recognition.
It is declared. And from there we can move on.
Yes.
Fantastic. You know, that I wrote to them on the 25th of September
last year. Yeah.
Do you think you could find that email and send it back to me? Because I can't find it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know what's happened to it. Sometimes things disappear. But
I'll send it to you. Yes.
Just to say that this series of pictures here, this was the boiling house, which we think has now been knocked down. And inside there were these things that looked like the boiling places, and there was a sort of access point.
That's St. Peter's Church in Vere?
This is St. Peter's Church. It's all on the same site.
Yes.
And here was the slate off the roof of St. Peter's Alley Church.
That's where Rainey's Waite worshipped. Rainey's Waite, 1699, his will. He established a school the first educational institution to be established. And it didn't come to fruition until 1855. That is now Manchester High School. They were
Yeah.
fighting over deadlift.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant.
So
And
we
Liz,
will
we
finish
have to
now, but
find,
enough
Liz,
of keep going over. Yes?
we have to find what seem to be the remains of Millhouse as well. Millhouse with the sugar
Sugar
plantation, the
plantation.
mill.
The mill, yeah. The mill
Seem,
house. Mm.
Say that again, Ivor.
Across the river,
Across the river, they found
what seems to
seemed
be,
to be the ruins of the
The mill house.
oiling house.
Millhouse, yeah.
Did you show them that picture, Ivor, of the plantations?
Not a picture, they went there, no.
They went
I
there.
took them there.
No, did you show them the painting
No,
that came from?
no, not yet. We run, no.
Well, you can send it to them. If you send it to me, Liz, I'll send it to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have they
There
contacted
is
us?
something about the painting which looks to me, God forbid, that something is added, because the hillside looked unreal to me. I thought it would have a lot of trees there, but there was grass on the hillside. You notice it looked yellowish.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, the hillside there, look, those
Well,
mounds.
it all depends what they wanted to portray, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mounds there were all in yellowish.
Yeah.
And it should be green, that should be bush. And if it were cane fields, it should be green.
Yes.
But I'll send it to you, Liz, and you send it to me, that image. Thank you very much.
Right, I'm just trying to find it while we're talking. Just a minute, let me just do this last thing, please.
I don't know, Dolly. I'm going to class in Maypen. To go now.
You
Okay,
have.
Ivan.
Okay then. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, all right. You take care.
All right, then.
Enjoy the day. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
okay.
Bye-bye.
I just want to say before we closed, Liz, just
Yeah,
I'm going to now you've piqued my interest. I'm going to see if I can find out some information about who owned Colonel's Ridge, where I'm from, the history of Colonel's Ridge.
Yeah. Start digging.
that would
Yeah.
be brilliant.
Because I mean, it's the areas like Brandon Hill, Kellits, Colonel's Ridge, Morgan's Pass, down to Pennants. Do you have any information about why the bridge in Pennants is called Cupid's Bridge?
Oh, yes, I know why that is. Just before I tell you, just give me your email address to save me having to look it up in case
Well, you
it
do
doesn't.
have it. It's a Jamaica Society. You use that email for me.
Yes, I know.
Society.
I
Okay, www.Jamaica
Just a minute.
Society.
Just let me just get a new message. So it's Jamaica. I'm just looking down here. Jamaica.
I do get your emails.
Yes, I know, but I've got a system where I don't send them all individually. All the addresses are grouped in groups that I can manage. So Jamaica Basic Schools, Jamaica South Wales Society, no. Where am I finding it? So say the email address, not the www address.
Oh, it's the Jamaica Society.
The
Jamaica Society.
The Jamaica Society.
Hotmail.co.uk.
Jamaica Society at Hotmail.
Yeah. .co.uk.
.co.uk. All right, so I've copied all of that and I'm sending it to you. Why is the bridge called Cupis Bridge? Well, because there is a place called Cupis really near, obviously there, and we're somewhat confused because the Cupis was also the name of a plantation. And the slave registers, that's what they're called, slave registers. We've got the slave registers in Bangor University archives from Cupis.
Okay.
but Cupis is really close to Pennant, so
Yes.
it's possible that they're the same estate, and they used to
Mm.
move
Mm.
enslaved workers from place to place. So
Probably
that's
just
why,
separated by the river.
yeah, there is this place called Cupis. Yeah.
And the
Okay
spelling,
then.
Joan, what we've seen, a K or a C.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we've noticed, the spelling is a K. Cupis, yeah.
I'm thinking about it, Garrick. Sometimes it's spelt with a C.
Yes, I know. That's what I said. We've seen both. We have seen both spelling. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, thank you very much indeed. And Joan, I'll
Okay.
send
All
the
right. I'll see
information.
you later on, Liz, at 4. Yeah.
I'm going to phone you in a minute, Garrick.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks then. Bye then. Bye, everyone.